Nice! Bro, that was a sick call, bro. Bang! Aye! Boom, 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 boom.
No, it's my 4K, IVF.
You got a 3K, you're the GOAT, let's go.
Enes, you're so sexy, bro. Let's go!
I like your phantom skin.
Bro, you're so good, bro. Oh my god.
What a fantastic response from Team Heretics, and it's nice to see that the vibes are good. They're enjoying themselves on stage, and they have taken us to a map 3. I'm your host, Yingson. I'm back here with Kakuka and Billy. This is the Team Heretics we wanted to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wholesome vibes now, right? Hyping each other up, getting into the groove of it. It's so much nicer in comparison to what we've seen in map 1.
Yeah, exactly. And even though it was pretty evened out in that first half, we saw that double duelist come to fruition in the second one. And it's so good because what I really wanted to see between those teams was the Icebox, and we're finally going to get it.
We will. Oh, thank God we're going to get that.
Yes.
Get that. Interesting comms, of course. Nobody else in the world runs this Heretics comp. Mini was talking about it already. You expect the Yoru here is usually. The ISO is a little bit new as well. Did you guys like this? You like the ideas Heretics brought?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand something that I think Minnie was saying, that when you think about the double duelist, and especially in this map, you think about something that is very explosive, right? Something that they can get under their heads, that has a lot of mobility. But I really like how Woods was using the ISO, trying to create those situations, going for more risky picks, and also using now the undercut to actually stop those executes when they matter the most.
Yeah, definitely. I think the suppression on the ISO now is so useful and really, yeah, helps them kind of isolate fights like you're saying. And I think as well they had to be more methodical, right? They couldn't just run into sight and just take things down. I think they had to like really think about how and when they were using their utility.
Yeah, and one of the things that we need to highlight, we were speaking about him before this match started, was Miniboo. First map he gave us the Waylay, and the performance that he's given up now on Raze, paired up with Woods, took us to the map number 3, because as I said, first half very evened out on that 6-6, but those executes, those entrances, that aggression that we were seeing at the beginning of the rounds was definitely very helpful to give Team Heretics some room to work with.
Yeah, we've seen this in the past. Miniboo, who's an emotional player. He is one of the emotional ones, you know. He takes it really hard on himself when his team isn't doing well, but it's good to see the confidence is back. I mean, this is the first map the Heretics has won in like 7 maps, you know. They didn't win a lot towards the end of kickoff, and hopefully, Billy, this is going to maybe snowball them into a very important win.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. I want it to be the bounce back for Heretics, because I don't think they were expecting to get defeated initially on that first map. We said that this probably would have been one of the biggest upsets that we've ever seen, right? So I think, yeah, they really need to come back into this one and kind of reframe their mindset. I think that they're looking positive already, so that's a really good start. But as we go to Icebox, I think there's a couple of like things that I'm puzzling in my mind, and I look at Apex's roles, right? I don't think Batu looked particularly comfortable on that Viper, and of course, this is an agent that we see time and time again on Icebox. So I think my questions go more towards Apex side versus Team Heretics side at this point.
I mean, if it helps, Batu has never played Viper on Icebox, so he's always he's been a bit of a duelist player.
Yeah, exactly. Did you not remember? It was during kickoff where he played his first Viper. We're all like, oh my God, he's coming in, and now he's playing the Viper. So I think you have a very fair point there, and also what they're doing with the compositions in general. We already saw it on Split, and one of the reasons why we were highlighting Miniboo and Woods is also because they, on the side of Heretics, they had a lot to deal with on the other side. We're seeing a Molsey that is connected. We saw it first with the deadlock, and then with this breach Tejo, something that Pipson was saying to us yesterday on that quote, you have to disrespect a lot of things, and it was on these two, on the players that we were speaking about before the match, and also right now, to kind of and deal with that and actually be the ones to disrespect the other.
They're warming back into it, you know, they're warming back into it, and Rian's, he just came alive towards the end there for his team. This is the vintage Team Heretics we're used to. This is a team that, you know, Boo was talking about, that we don't make roster changes. We're going to stay together and we're going to improve as a team. But the Icebox is going to be very interesting. We spoke a little bit about Apex already. What would you like to see on the side of Team Heretics?
I would like to see the Neon. I'm thinking about Smurfette. I think about Smurfette a lot, actually. But I going back into the conversation of what to do with the agents here and there. My bigger question is, what is Wood going to be doing? Are we going to see maybe some chamber? Because I expect like the usual suspects, right? Like you can put Rians on Soba. Benji on Killjoy, Boo on Viper. Are we going to see a Wood that is going to dive into maybe a double controller playing the Omen? Like, how much freedom are we going to give him, and what role is he going to have in this Icebox?
Yeah, I wonder even if we're going to see a Tejo on the Icebox, right? Because of course this is something that we still have to consider. Or a boring KO, yeah. But like, yeah, I want to see what both of these teams have cooked up. I think for Team Heretics, there is a likelihood that they go to comfort roles here, right? We've seen Wood kind of playing that double smokes in kickoff, and we kind of like worried a little bit about comfortability of a lot of the players.
Yeah, on the other side, Governor's pretty much played every agent under the sun at this point on Icebox. The Sova, the Jet, the Viper, the Sage, the Reyna, the KO, the Chamber, the Neon, the Clove. You know, he's done it all. So they have a lot of flexibility. Floor, once upon a time, has her one KO, one Gecko, one and done. I don't know why you would do that to Floor, but it feels like teams are moving away from the Sage, moving away from the Gecko. So I want to see if maybe these teams bring it back, and it's a Floor Waylay. Let's go, Mini was right, 2 for 2.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Benji is actually going to move away from that Killjoy. It's been a hot minute since we've seen the Icebox without the Killjoy into the Vice, and Wood is going to go back to that Tejo. It wasn't brilliant when we saw it, but we're going to give him a second chance. As you're saying, Governor back on that, they're doubling down on that, on the breach and the Tejo. And as you're saying, Fluorescent just heard Miniboo saying, oh, I'm the first Waylay in EMEA, and she was like, are you?
Yeah, no, I love that. I can't wait to see how Fluorescent gets on the Waylay. But I think as well, the Benji on Vice is a big one, right? Because I think as well, the more that we're seeing teams kind of implement that Tejo, players are not wanting to jump on the Killjoy. It's just too much. The utility that Tejo can offer kind of takes away a lot of Killjoy's kit. So I think it's a nice change for Team Heretics.
Yeah, a breach on Icebox, I'm here for. And also Batu, first time on the Killjoy. Can't wait to see how that's going to go. And send this back to your casters. Take it away, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. A bit of a treat for us here today. Not just a map 3 in this series, which was something we weren't sure we'd get to see, but now Waylay twice with Fluorescent picking it up for the second time in EMEA. Not her second time, the second time. And getting to see this agent here on Icebox, I think is going to be a real treat. Somewhere that we've seen Raze before, we've seen Jet dominate, and with so much high ground to play with, I think her dash is going to be very interesting with all the options it's going to give you.
I'm just glad that it seems like the default comp is finally dead.
Yes!
Because that was the thing. I hated coming into this map every single week, and it's the same two comps playing against each other. Sure, even before, we had Team Heretics running a Neon and a Gecko. Like, they weren't in that bracket of just the same thing, but thank God we don't just see a Sage anymore. There is still a wall, though. Just not quite used the same. You can't set off your own wall to plant.
Oh, well, the high ground's already taken! Fluorescent wasting no time using light speed to get up in Heretics' faces. But it's only one kill to start us off. Look at the space taken by Apex, though. Malzy, your INGL here, middle of the row. He's pushed down, middle indeed, meeting up with Governor and boxing in Team Heretics to this A hit.
Seems like Batu will be spotted. Some attempted denial of space, basically cutting out one of those default plant spots, and well, Miniboo didn't go quick enough. He's been caught.
Numbers thinned out for Heretics as they go for the plant. The stun comes in. The big swing from up in heaven leaves Boo on the floor. It's Woot all by his lonesome. A few more to take down and a few too many angles to hold all at once. It's Apex, this time winning out the first pistol round.
I'm actually very interested how that Vice Wall is going to be used, because a lot of the time when you had Killjoy, sure, that utility can now be destroyed a lot more easy, but you still had at least a turret and an alarm bot that's going to clear out quite a bit more space on your flanks, whereas I want to know where you'd place the Vice Wall that will give you that same level of information, or if it's going to be a much more, okay, Benji just has to sit and watch and basically make sure nobody's coming on those flanks, because we saw it there. Governor ends up completely behind them, and you can't let that happen when it gets to buy rounds.
And you can't play with your turret and an outlaw if you don't have a turret, so what's the point? What is the point? That's the real takeaway for me. For Apex, 1-0 start, but now a lot of pistols moving up towards this A site. They've gotten deep, they've gotten past the defensive line, and it's Governor who gets caught trying to slipstream them. This is a bit of a problem now. A rifle recovered and a plant secured. Team Heretics, they've really sunk their teeth into this eco round. And although one kill is found by Fluorescent, okay, we needed more. Well, Malzy certainly has stepped up to the plate, and a chance for this to not be economically devastating if they can avoid losing anyone else. Malzy's leading by example with a 4-piece pickup. And a good amount of work done towards that Rolling Thunder for future rounds. That's a 2-0 start for Apex.
It seems like Malzy, he's still putting up numbers at times, but he really is just putting himself in the pocket of some of those superstars on the squad. Like, applying the breach on this map has never really been a common thing, but you look back, even in the last map that they didn't win, the amount of times that there were fights where players were just completely stunned up or left in awkward positions, I don't mind seeing it. And well, he's going to go 5-0 in the first 2 rounds. I don't think anybody will be giving him critique just yet. This is the thing, though. Again, when we talk about the composition from Heretics, I think it's definitely going to have a lot of viability on that defensive side with that Vice thrown into play, the aggression potential of Miniboo and Woot together. The same can be said for those two coming into the attack. A lot of angles that can be cleared. I'm looking at Apex. 4 players right now within a very tiny angle. They're going to push.
The Heretics are waiting. That flash doesn't even stop Miniboo. He's picked up a second, gotten out, and Rien swaps places with him. That's a wonderful start. The attacking side having all the cards now. They can take this where they want. They know that Governor's here. With 2 players, 1 hit to that Outlaw. They have to be careful. Salvo sent in to slow them. But instead, it just sends them in the other direction. And a quick rotate for Miniboo means he'll be here way before Governor can hope to have eyes on B.
I think it was also a play just to get back to a rifle, because in that aggression was all of the rifles bar the sniper. So it basically left them in a spot where they didn't have any of the guns remaining. So fighting that with an Outlaw and a pistol, not ideal. The problem though, this post plant, good luck. How do you even find a way back into this? It's all going to come down to how much damage can this Outlaw achieve.
Yeah, well, the Vice utility as well. Like, if you're not getting in there immediately, there's going to be problems, and you see it there. Steel vines all over the site. That will be a prickly push if you decide to go for it. Instead, Apex playing the exits, try to make this as costly as they can with Governor, and in Batu's case, holding on to the weapon and flying under the radar might be the best case scenario. Don't know if he's going to have a choice, though, as Banshee starts to clear out that position. Now they know just where Batu is. Doesn't even want to risk the run across to start with, but he'll get out in the end.
Yeah, I think as well, you look at the other side of the coin for Heretics, they want to build up an early economy as much as possible, because the amount of rounds I feel like where, even in the last 2 maps where they start off 4-0, 4-1, they were never clean. They always had a huge amount of damage to their own economy as they were doing it, and then the second Apex found a breakback, they were right back to pistols again. There were so many rounds where they ended up on pistols, or like, okay, 2 rifles and pistols, or a Bucky. Like, they don't want that going into this first half, so they're not going to risk hunting that man down. Again, though, this looks like an incredibly direct early position. Like, this is every single member queued up outside of A.
They're denying that early orb as well with this fight. The reveal going up, but it's still taken by Apex.
Yeah,
they claim the space as the drone rounds the corner just a little late. And he could have seen that high swing up on Belt for the duel, but indeed they were ready for it. This is all part of the plan for Apex. Great stuff with the Rolling Thunder, and it's Fluorescent in there at light speed for another. Refracting back to safety, and then Governor cleaning up the rest. Wonderful game plan from Apex. It looked like Heretics maybe on the back of, Armageddon was 1 away for Woot. If they can take that orb, it's free site take. But Apex brought the fight to them.
This is the thing, again, you just talk about the value that Malzy is bringing, the call to basically play off contact, Rolling Thunder, then he puts an aftershock through, and well, it becomes so easy for Fluorescent to just land all of those remaining shots. They don't give up that space either. Continue to fight it, and well, already 3-1 in favor of Apex.
Take flight.
Again, those 4 rifles being kept was so important. They get slaughtered in this round, but they can at least buy back into it.
You really can't understate the fact that I feel like most people would have Apex right down the bottom of the list when it comes to the teams that can go far coming into stage 1. This is a team with no expectations on their shoulders. Even claiming a map will catch people by surprise.
But with the most to lose. That's the thing. They're one of the teams, the org itself, up for relegation. So a victory here versus Heretics could be absolutely everything, going into those later positions towards the end of the year. Even seeding going into stage 2 could mean something to this squad, like things that other teams would laugh at. They have to be considering.
Heretics came in expecting perhaps an easier match than they've gotten, but Apex have had their eyes on the prize from the first barriers going up. This is a full buy from that attacking side. They've already lost Rien's, lost some of their initiation utility, but they still have some in the form of the salvos. Miniboo's walking through them. They're not going to expect them to round that corner. It's a very ambitious play, but one that works out wonderfully. Boo, though, caught in middle, and the herd thins out again on the side of Heretics. Not ready for another Miniboo swing, but still, the trade comes in time.
Look at the ult, though. It's set up ready. Armageddon first. It seems like Fluorescent has the same idea on the other side. Gonna try pushing, but Benji just waiting. He's gonna be the last man left to try and hold the line, try and bring this back, but has to swing eventually, and the patience of Apex is what takes this round home. A 4th on the board. They survive when Miniboo is thriving and when the ultimate of Teo comes online. And more interestingly here, I feel like, again, it's easy, even in week 1, to fall back into some of the stories. You've got ex-teammates in the form of Boo and Molzy. But I think, for me, the most exciting one is you have an Ascension winner facing off against a Champions finalist. And they might take it. Now, obviously, there's been roster moves. It's a different team, but that is still something that I think expectations never would have been there at the beginning of the year.
No, not at all. What a performance it's been so far. Low buy from Heretics. Miniboo, and while he's wasting 0 seconds of this round straight into a fight in their spawn. But the turret's the only thing that can evade his ire as Benji picks up one onto Fluorescent. This round is crumbling. His weapon gets cancelled out, jammed up. Even though he took down the player, the ult remained, and Avova and Batu now left to pick up the pieces.
Getting back in here should be impossible. Again, those salvos are going to start coming back online. The sniper now in Miniboo's hands with Boot, with a rifle of his own, and they are sitting back so passively. Almost just trying to bait out some of the utility that they know will be coming. Avova even going to try and cancel things out, but I say there doesn't look like there's much hope. That's not a bad start. The problem now is he's just got to almost try and stick this until the end. The remaining players not going to be over-facing, and with Miniboo in such a tight corner, even if he manages to get back onto this, Miniboo's going to be there. May have got him killed to the spike. That will still be a big round. In fact, a pay save card Thrifty for Heretics.
Haven't gotten to say that at all today, have we? Is that our first pay save card Thrifty?
Might be.
It's been fairly clean rounds back and forth, and any of them that have come down to that have been off of clutches as well.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like, yeah, it's either gone down to a clutch, or it would be like, oh, they've got it into a 3v1, and Avova's the last guy alive. It's like, well, yeah, okay, they failed the pay save card Thrifty, but they should have won it. They just didn't because he Red Bull clutched.
Well, 4-2 is it's a pretty scoreline to look at. Map 3, trading blows early on. Good sign of what is to come. Salvo sent in, as is Fluorescent, for the early control over B main. Spike just around the corner, with a wall blocking them off, and that won't even be pushed that far. It's interesting as well.
I feel like they should also, like, rewind her audio. She goes back. Maybe that's just me, Avova. He's going to fight tooth and nail and even trade to start, but I'm also just looking at the amount of damage that's being done by Riens. He's not going to get either of the kills, but he's brought players low and given space elsewhere. Avova, I was going to say in trouble, but somehow has come out of it smelling like roses.
Yeah, that pick puts them back to even footing, but it's Heretics with the plant. Benji Fishy up close. with lots of vines just placed onto the floor. The first set activated, the second set can delay even further. This clock is gonna run down. They're waiting for it. They think right after these go, let's run on in, let's take the fight. Benji's here. He's the one slowing them down, or trying to. He's ended up falling, and Rienz picks up the double. Governor with just 15 HP, there's no choice but to run to the hills. I thought that was another vine. That makes a bit more sense. It was the flash that was in play.
Well,
I was thinking, why hasn't he activated it? Well, that makes sense.
Maybe a little bit of a whiff for Benji, but again, this was something that really came into fruition in the last map, was Rienz in late rounds. If he's alive in those late round scenarios, it feels like he has been such a high impact player and more. It seems like we have the curse of 4-1. Any team that gets 4-1 up seemingly lets it slip, as we've already started to witness Heretics climbing back into this game. This will be another big purchase, though.
Use my thorns, let's go.
Oh, Benji, use their thorns and you delayed them and we win.
How about the thorns did have wonderful impact. I'm not sure what that noise was, but I'm guessing some form of a display of happiness.
I think it was sarcastic, like excitement. Nonetheless, Miniboo has been running riot. A missed shot for Fluorescent leaves her down on just 45 points of health. And actually, just look at the A site. This has been a reaction. After early presence in mid was shown, they felt the need to clear everything out, and in the meantime, they've completely negated this A site control. Now, bear in mind, I feel like when Heretics have got into a post plant on A, they haven't really let it slip.
And with one orb away from Boo having himself a Viper's Pit, granted he's on the other side of the map, but that could certainly play a very good role for them. Look at this. In fact, it's Heretics moving to A with 2 players while the spike goes the other way. They'll have their wall from Vice protecting their back on that side of the map.
The lockdown? Is that the goal? Like, send enough in that they try and use their ult on one side of the map. Maybe they use one of them. Maybe they use the Armageddon and things just get a little bit more difficult. Instead, yeah, the lockdown's nowhere near as impactful on the B side. So much more difficult to make that work, and they've caught them while they're rotating. This is a great round so far from Heretics.
They even expect Boo to be quite this close. Armageddon goes into play, but they've got to walk right past this player, flying under the radar. Again, it's Boo. And now the Viper's Pit put into play, but he can't get out. He's caught on the way. The Thorns, though, buying precious seconds as Team Heretics use a Viper's Pit of their own. They're looking to push right into this spike, and they've gotten onto it already, but Benji is lurking inside the toxins. He'll buy them precious seconds indeed as that clock runs down. Evolva's safe around the corner, and they can't stop it this time. Apex, Evolva with a standard play. It's a clutch from him, but also sticking the spike under their nose. Back to form.
I said it when we were on Ascent. I was like, it's a bold play to try and stick a defuse in front of Evolva, because normally he's the one doing it to you. Well, guess what? He's just done it to you. Again. I don't, and this map, I get a flashback to this map when I think about it. The amount of times he gets away with it. It's just got to be infuriating. Wow, the combo breaker. A lot of ultimates used by that defensive side, but they still hold on to the lockdown. Miniboo has had enough. His aggression's been successful so often, but Fluorescent is able to shut him down. Now, I believe if she had refracted there, she would have gone right back into the crosshair. So I think that was more of a wise decision not to stick that one through. The problem, though, is, again, you've had Miniboo as this fantastic space taker. Sure, losing Governor's frustrating, but that's a worthwhile trade.
I mean, if you just opened the stream and saw Miniboo sliding through, you'd assume that probably Fluorescent is Miniboo's teammate. They're both dashing towards the B side, but that was a retreat and an immediate turn to take that fight and level us back out in a 4v4. Having used Viper's Pits in last round, you know, this lurk would be very dangerous with a pit going up and the site lost, but that's not the case. And in fact, there's nothing for Heretics to fall back on in that department. Apex, on the other hand, being proactive. They heard that noise on A, they popped the lockdown, but everyone is on B, including Batu, who's now on the rotate. They'll find one in the form of Fluorescent, they'll find another in the form of Evolva, and Malzy's gone too! I don't know how Woot's gotten away with that, but Batu after using his lockdown, has a 1v4. The first of which he's found. The ladders will not be quite so easy. Heretics, I don't know how they got away. Well, never mind Heretics. I don't know how Woot got away with that.
This is the thing. I feel like this is the opposite of the last round. I think the last round, Heretics played a perfect fake. They got onto the site and they lose it to maybe just not the greatest plant spot. It wasn't like a bad round from them. This round, I actually feel like the read was way better from Apex. They used the lockdown to fake the idea that, okay, we believe you're going A. We believe you're going A. Okay, we'll use the lockdown. And Batu plays it, immediately runs B. They know it's B. They have 3 players there. And then Woot just wipes out everybody. It's a weird couple of rounds. We're seeing this again, same stun, same idea, but you could see how far back Rians was playing. They were very well prepared for that.
Yep, in the pistol, it was a similar setup just by chance, but here, that's very much calculated, knowing that early dash was likely or possibly going to be used, especially on a weaker buy, to get that advantage in the early fight. Now, Heretics, 5 versus 4. Miniboo tagged up, but with an outlaw in a round like this, there's nobody who can stand against even one shot. Whoops, even one shot from that outlaw.
They definitely have an idea that 1 or 2 players, and you can see the full sprint rotation coming from Mosey. A single kill for him would get the Rolling Thunder, but I would say expectations are that it's not going to be utilized in this round unless they already have something that could pull them through to victory.
Oh, that is a very late flank from Governor that's actually just going to see him wrap back around to the rest of the squad. Punching back through this post plant will be very difficult. Nobody's really cared about the back other than Boo, so the rest of the squad on site looking in just one direction, ready for the swings to come through. And with weaker weapons, even a 1v1 has a disadvantage, but when there's that many guns looking back, it's no surprise it's an in-zone flawless for Team Heretics.
That's another one I feel like we've not had. There have
true.
not been clean rounds throughout this game. It's always been at least a little bit dirty throughout. Nonetheless, 5-5. As I said, the 4-1 early start has been a curse throughout this game. Always seemingly leveling up at some point. I think a big part of that has been the resurgence of Woot. I think having a very quiet map 1, a solid map 2 on the ISO, and then building into this one, potentially for a big finale, which if you're an Apex fan might be heartbreaking, because there's no doubt that they have been in this match. They've been prominent throughout. Here we go, Rolling Thunder, and again, Fluorescent tries to get into this one, but Miniboo, while stunned, still finds the shot.
Just cosmetic, really, isn't it? And now a problem for Governor. He'll be left down to his secondary weapon, his primary jam for a moment, and caught from an angle
That's not what you want to show.
Shorty is not quite favored on that range. The barrel a little too short.
Back to back.
Halsey, the last one standing. And I don't think he's going to want to try this retake. Saving the weapon for the final round makes a lot more sense. But Heretics, as time ticks on, eventually they're going to realize we have a lot of credits. They don't. Let's go kill him.
Oh, for sure. See, he's got to be careful. They are slowly surrounding him on his position. There's not many places to hide as well.
What a read.
Boo has made the realization. There you go, back-to-back in zone flawlesses. Clearly wanted to keep the sponsors happy with this one, and Heretics have delivered, and this is a great sign for them going forward. Like, the fact that they've had 2 clean rounds, the fact that the last time we saw this exact thing with a Rolling Thunder setup, they get blitzed by it, but I think that's now a couple of times where Miniboo has been way further forward than anybody over on Apex has expected to see him. And I'll say, that is probably because a lot of people do not play Neon on this map. Like, there's a few here and there that will pick it up, but I think Heretics have always been the main one.
Doing a thing.
Well, they're still planning to look forward to, from the duelist on the other side, Fluorescent playing the Waylay on attack will bring a lot of value.
You're not talking about this.
Well, I hadn't looked at the right side of the hood, evidently. 3 outlaws. Yeah. Obviously, they've got cash, so I'm assuming that, why would you want an off? Explain, why would you want an off? Actually, 3 players are 25, and you get 2 shots with quick movement. Outlaw's just a better weapon. I'll fight anyone who disagrees. Batu. All right, well, I'm not a man of my word, evidently.
I was like, now what?
But yeah, for Heretics, look, they've got Hunter's Fury moving into this round. They've got themselves the Outlaws, but they'll be quickly swapped over to the Rifles. And all they have to do is avoid some of these early fights. Saturate's good, and it's going to keep Governor in position. It was the ultimate from Waylay that managed that. And now, a 5v4 as a result. Hunter's Fury, though, tags him up. Woo, good for the kill on Malzy.
Normally you expect players to have dropped this gun and picked back up their rifle. It seems that Benji Fishy got so far forward, he's decided he's almost had to keep it. Like, this is potentially a nasty surprise for Avova, although the man does seem to have eyes in the back of his head. I think firing out this utility might just be the end of him, and it will. That's an easy kill for Benji. And well, for the rest of the squad, they have no ground to get back into this position. It should be a free plant with no resistance.
Yeah, Vova only had 25 shields, so it's a one shot, but I don't think a second shot would have been too hard to hit on a player that didn't know you're right above him and behind him. Now the post plant for Team Heretics. And a lot of utility already burned up, but a shock dart alongside a snake bite, nothing to turn your nose at. Salvo's used, Batu spotted 2 on back. Yellow! Good kills! A little more possibly, but a little too much to ask. 7-5 in favor of Team Heretics, closing out the first half.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 7-5. Team Heretics now on the defensive side, but they've got the lead. Still, I am very optimistic about what we're about to see. Waylay on the attack here on Icebox. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, my only worry is if they run out of steam. 6 of the last 7 rounds going the way of Heretics. So this was, again, it was another 4-1 start. It's something we've seen throughout the matchup so far, is whoever starts off the map seems to let it slip away. And the thing is, you've seen the stars that you need. Like, everybody performing on the Heretic side. Woots look fantastic, and I think going into that Benji Fishy Vice defensive side is going to be difficult to break down. This guy is already fantastic with a Cypher, and then give him a Vice, and it could be nasty.
Oh, the new agent already using up, showing off some of those abilities. Your light speed dash across in mid, and the refractive pullback towards the spawn. He's going to get a drone out of Woot, which will be destroyed deep and not get a ton of information. They still have to be...
Only saw Batu, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And no clearance towards the tube, which is a gap that they'll have to be aware of as this clock runs down. So, for now, they're trying to throw question marks up for Team Heretics, and maybe they get an overextension as a result.
This is the thing. Look at the setup from Vice. You've got the wall very, very deep, which might just leave someone in a horrible isolated position, but also you've got the thorns just in front of that. So there may not be even a retreat if they attempt to go that way.
Oh, okay. Governor's managing to find Banshee, and that's going to at least drop the whole wall issue. Avova straight onto Boo, with Mini Boo tagged incredibly low as well. It's not a bad start for the attacking side. As they pump the brakes and hit the freeze, Heretics start to wonder if the hit's coming in elsewhere. Rians can push down mid and lock them into this hit, but can they deny the plan? Do they want to? From the looks of it, no. just waiting behind that wall, not wanting to risk it, especially here on the pistol, especially with some players so low already. That decay could have caused massive problems. Now grouped up as 3, shock dart sent in, caught Avova. That's a big pickup. They're both towards main. Having to swing out on the same angle, the stun not actually landing, and this is a bit of a problem. Malzy's all alone. They're just now starting to defuse, still a bit of time to play with, and he's tagged up as well. I think one of those salvos might have caught him for a decent amount of damage. He's made it around the corner, buying so much time! A Red Bull clutch for Malzy from the jaws of defeat.
What on earth is that? Like, that genuinely seems like a scenario that was impossible. And when he got tagged, I was like, oh, he's screwed. Absolutely screwed. Even had to swing out wide to kill Wu, who would have just got the defusal over the line if he went for anything else. And well, I feel like Rians is not going to be happy with how that one ended.
That's all we need.
A big pistol round for Apex to take, and honestly, one that without their IGL, without their leader, there would have been no chance.
Big one for Malzy. 7-6. Apex go right into Miniboo to start this one off. Fluorescent dropped and they don't know about Boo flying under the radar. And it's a wonderful position! An even better result! He's wall-banged Avova with a classic after taking his head off with the first shot. Well, Governor and Batu, they have got their work cut out for them now. I feel like you're almost locked into playing B as well. You're against an eco. They're going to get those weapons. You might as well defend him. And Batu's got to pick one up. He's only got a ghost.
But that's the thing as well. He's had to retrieve his turret because he would have been out of range of it anyway. So they literally don't know what ground they've lost. So it has to be fighting forward at this stage. The only goal here is to try and buy as much time as humanly possible. Up and above. That first one's for free. Got his own salvos to potentially try and get into a plant. In fact, the goal is to try and get a little bit of extra space, but they've swung onto him. Still, they've done well, but it's left onto just one, so desperately low on HP. That is a brutal round for the side of Apex. They've gone and walked into the brothers' home, and well, the majority didn't walk out standing.
Not at all. I mean, Miniboo's first shot was impressive, straight onto the head of Fluorescent, but the rotation deeper and the shot fired out, this drew them in. Boo had no right to claim the kill on Avova. A quick reaction for the first shot, a clean follow-up, and well, Miniboo was there for the later round, but Miniboo put credits on the line. Boo did it with a classic, and both pushed this across the line. Heretics lost the pistol in heartbreaking fashion, but they've recovered nicely.
Yeah, now it's going to be even more infuriating for the other side to attempt to try and respond. 4 rifles and then, well, no, just 4 rifles. Never mind. No one even saw the outlaw.
Right here.
Don't know how much you're going to get away with pushing that wall. You're on a low buy, so you take risks. Those risks rarely have a reward in this kind of situation, not unless there's a big mistake on the other side, and they were all holding. Leaving Malzy on 50 HP. 1v4, Sheriff in hand, tagged up as well. Mainly, you are already looking to the next round, with the question of damage still to be answered. Everyone's got a rifle. The Outlaw's already gone. 1 or 2 kills here. The butterfly effect could come into play. Just keep them modest in terms of economy, especially with that shaky start.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you win the last round, you even get a boost. So you're looking at Rians and Benji with a few thousand extra.
30 seconds left.
Even 1 kill, I don't think will make any real difference. And he's not even going to get that. Relatively clean round, only the Outlaw lost for Team Heretics, and I think there needs to be a relatively early response here from Apex. Sure, we already saw them like streak a mass amount of rounds together when it came to map number 1. When it gets into the depths of a series, when it gets late into the map, but there's 2 problems they're going to have. 1, running out of steam and ideas. 2, if momentum carries on like it has been with a couple of blips for Heretics, you're going to see the likes of Wu and Miniboo just dominate this game.
Well, that's what we have seen, at least in the last couple of rounds. Things are starting to shape up better and better for the side of Team Heretics. That defense.
Locating targets.
Very deep thorns put into play. Thrown out from just outside of A. That's giving deep B control to the side of Heretics. They leave Boo just there to hold on, spot the info in the jump peak, and they can stack up heavy around mid, maybe even go for a bit of mid aggression. It depends. The drone not really seeing anything with Batu ducking. This is a... whether you want to call it a heavy stack, I'm not sure, but it is definitely a big lean. They'll have such a quick reaction to the A play thanks to that piece of utility from Benji Fischer. I'm curious if we can see later where he threw that from.
Aggression into mid actually can come at a worse time. This is where the execution begins, but it does seem like Heretics have almost completely committed. They're just playing a retake at this point, stunned through onto the player on site. There's no way Governor gets out of there. The Vice Wall left him completely isolated, and in fact the worry would be is, could anybody get onto that diffuser? Something that desperately needs to be checked. 2 players stuck in this back corner. It could end up as the undoing of this opposing side. Never mind! If Fluorescent can hit 2 quick shots, even manages what I was going to say to escape, but doesn't. And Avova gets absolutely nothing. The first couple of shots were wonderful, but now only 1 man remains. It's Molesy. Needs to try and swing this. It's a deeper plant than he would have liked, and well, a wider angle for Boo. He will not miss that one.
And now climbing towards that match and series point. It's not far away now for Heretics, a team who came in and lost this pistol round. I think, did they lose the first pistol round as well? Oh, thank you very much to our observers for this and to our EVS team. And yeah, that utility ended up landing outside of B. There's 3 players on B at the start, so if you're there, you're going to be cut in half as a team. The 3 players will eliminate whoever's in front of the Thorns, and anyone behind him can forget about the round. But if there's no one there, great. Instant rotation. Boo holds map control, and you are beyond ready for the hit coming in on the other side. You know, I was curious about the ideas of Vice, and especially as you highlighted, Tom, losing out on that Killjoy utility. There's disadvantages to, or at least there's going to be adaptations that you have to make. Yeah. That one right there, that's a really nice idea and a wonderful result.
There we go. Benito. Odorous once again put in the hot seat. I'd say for map number 1, definitely seemed like things worked out, and I think even going back to the early rounds in Split, we saw a beautiful combo of ults. It seems like they love taking a pause whenever that the Armageddon is available. I've noticed that. I think that's 3 times I've gone, Armageddon's online. Got an idea for that. So we'll see.
Now we wait.
Hasn't been the most impactful in terms of damage with the ults, but it's definitely been in terms of space taken. The problem, though, is that they're not coming in with a buy. So normally we've seen them take that pause as they're going in, so I can only assume that just with the scoreline and maybe the way that things have been going within communication, etc., hasn't been quite what they wanted. Instead, it's just going to be pacey. They are running straight into this one.
Salvo's lined up to buy a little bit of extra time. We've seen the Thorns activated. That's going to keep the spike off the site for now. As the clock runs down and the numbers of defenders towards this site increase gradually. They can't get any more now. All 5 Heretics members, the entirety of Los Niños waiting.
Don't have plan.
And just firing utility in to run the clock down further to deal more and more damage. Now here come the salvos and the fight on the back of it. It's so clean. They've got full control over the map. Their utility is keeping them back, and Heretics just with a clean sweep for so many of these fights. Full control for the defensive side, and let's hope that Apex talked about this next round in the timeout, because that one fell apart.
But that was the thing. The goal seemed to be, okay, 2 players will go in quickly, bait out all of that utility. The 3rd player will come and get the plant, and I think it was going to be Molesy to get the Rolling Thunder. He ends up getting it because I think he gets a kill somewhere in the middle of everything, and so they actually try and get Fluorescent to plant. But that was the goal. Okay, if we can use both of those ultimates, we have the Armageddon and we have the Rolling Thunder, that's fantastic. They never get to the post plant. There was so much utility put in that there just wasn't an opportunity. And well, without that, the round is not. What? Okay, well, you come in with a buy, you come in with a plan. It means nothing when Miniboo comes sliding in.
Well, we saw what happened with this setup The same thorns going down, the snake bite on top of them as well. It's impossible to go through. And we saw what happens when no one's there. You get map control, you rotate, and you're ready for the hit on the other side. But if you're unfortunate enough to have players there, the round's over. Miniboo on walkabouts picks up his 3rd kill of the round. But Apex have done well.
Yeah.
They landed a couple of nice shots and now find themselves in a 2 versus 3. Governor heavily tagged up though, and look at Woot, ult online. Look at Boo, 1 away from a Viper's Pit. This is not going to be an easy finisher.
Yeah, for sure. Utility still available, and you can almost see that I think they're well aware of where that wall is going to be. It's just trying to
30 seconds
bait out anything that they can. It's going to be a little bit of
Spike planted.
delay, but nothing much more.
Ray just keeps backside control for them as well. Now much more free, spotted both players too. All the information, a lockdown put into play, and they've been forced into the open. The flank will deal with the lockdown anyways, and this round, well, it ends up costing maybe more than expected for Apex as they were lulled into this false sense of security. I just noticed Boo's the one defusing as well, so now Viper's Pit will be online. In fact, every ultimate except for Armageddon, which was just like, that's it being used there. Every other ult is now online for Heretics, and they have 6 chances to close out this map.
What?
I don't know what that was. They're gonna wish that wasn't on replay.
What just happened, whoever? I feel like it's always him caught in compromising situations on the camera.
Our ABS team always on the lookout for
either that or it's Milan. But anyway,
well,
12-6. Another pause taken. The last one, no effect. They may have had an idea, had a plan, but it has been disrupted. And that's the thing. We're talking about the superstars on this Heretics side. I think in some of the recent matches, we'll talk about, okay, Miniboo had a great map, Woot maybe had a great map, someone steps up. This is everyone. There is not a bad player currently performing on the Heretics side. And I'll tell you that I don't know if they're, especially if you go back to last year, if you go, every single Heretics player is playing well, it's like, oh, well, they've just won against any team in the world. Like, it genuinely doesn't matter. So Apex have got to try and dig deep and find something. 6 rounds in a row needed. If you're back on Ascent, that was possible. They proved it, but right now, it is not looking good. Fluorescent not having the time of her life of Volva, the superstar of the last couple of maps, has finally been silenced, even with the Ninja Defuse at the first. This is a problem now.
Just feels like Waylay is cursed for these EMEA teams. That first map, Heretics picked Waylay, got decimated, and now Apex picked Waylay, and it's the same old story. A bit more work to be done there, but credit to Heretics, some great ideas. I said yesterday I'm a big fan of Vice, and I think so many maps that you don't have to have Vice, but she brings an undeniable amount of value. And here on Icebox, I wouldn't have picked this as one of the maps. I would have actually said it's one of the maps where you can't really play, or at least I can't justify it with the value you find elsewhere, but Heretics have a whole approach built around this. The wall defensively covering mid is great, but the main thing being that B main fight that they tried earlier and then successfully in the last round, it seems so difficult to deal with.
I like as well that they consistently have Benji away from the majority of action, so that utility is always going to be online. The Thorns are always, well, in the side of the opponents. Now building into what looks like a B take once again. An aggressive position. Drone also being utilized. That Sova combination with Teo gives them a lot of info. Yeah, Benji.
Dark Rose came back.
To try and take some control. Batu is the only man not with the rest of the squad. Well, neither of them ends up going down. That Rolling Thunder has been utilized. A Hunter's Fury in combination and a Viper's Pit as well. Everything being thrown in here, but the fact is that first kill has still gone the way of this defensive side. Another for Miniboo as he goes running into the site. Even looking to try and spam back in. Another comes up for Benji within it. And they still haven't planted. They still need to get that spike down. There's only 10 seconds left for them to deal with this, and they haven't dealt with the players within this Viper's Pit. It is done. It is dusted. The result will end as expected.
You know things are getting desperate when you have to stick a plant inside your opponent's Viper's Pit. That is decimation from the side of Heretics. They came in here today, shaky footing to start it out. It was their map pick as well,
That
right?
scoreboard is wild, by the way. The top 5 players in the server were all from Team Heretics. That doesn't happen often.
No.
But the fact is, that is the team that we saw in this last map. Map 1, it was a miss. It didn't seem like they had as much depth as maybe they wanted with the comp. Obviously, this is the first week. There's going to be adaptations. There's going to be adaptations from either side, in fact. The fact is, Apex put on a show. They came in probably a lot stronger than most, if not everyone, expected. The problem, though, is when you come up against one of these big teams, which you look at their group, that's going to be basically every week. It's not going to get any easier, and they need to try and find that extra level to get something over the line.
Well, there was a moment here where Heretics were on the ropes, but they bounced back and looked incredible doing it here. A statement on the final map. They came in with a new identity, a new approach, a refreshed Icebox, and it looked wonderful. Any team will be scared to face this roster, but for Apex as well, impressive across the board. We expected this to be a blowout matchup. Heretics delivered 2 strong maps, but not before losing 1, and that at least shows us that there's foundations to build on for Apex's future.
Yeah, especially when you consider that a lot of the critique would have been the players that ascended. Like, we're looking at the new players with excitement and going, okay, but will we see the best out of Mozzie? We did. I think his deadlock on map 1 was brilliant. I think anybody could go and watch that deadlock and go, okay, this is something I could take for like even my rank games or something silly like that. Like, okay, but ultimately, they were not the victors. The victor is currently down on the stage. We're going to have the post-match interview with Miniboo.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. I'm now joined by Miniboo from Team Heretics. First of all, massive congratulations on that win. Very noisy fans over there. We'll get to them in just a bit. But big win for you guys today, considering how it started. How does it feel to be back on the stage and to have the positive energy going and to have the banter back and have the fun back in your game?
I mean, I think it's all about the practice, and we are back to having fun in practice, and that's what we showed today, that we are having fun playing the game again. And I'm really proud of the boys that we are able to bring them back, you know, like the kids kind of power, you know, like we're just like enjoying the game and not worrying too much. Like, we are not trying to prove anything to anyone. We're just like playing the game, and that's it.
Now, the last time we had this chat, you said, you know, you're just a duelist. There's a lot of questions you can't answer, but so I'm going to stick to the duelist questions. First of all, the Waylay, I know the result didn't really go your way, but did you like playing the Waylay? Whose idea was this?
I liked Waylay. Yeah. I liked Waylay so much. Like, I think this agent has potential, and in the future, I would like to play more of Waylay. I play like Waylay a lot in ranked. I think this agent is good, and I think I'm doing really well on it. I'm just sad that we couldn't show it, but it's not because of the Waylay, it's because of our overall team play and other reasons in Ascent, you know?
We like the ideas, we like the ideas. What did you think about Floor's Waylay and also their breach stuff with the Tail on Icebox? What did you think of that?
I mean, I think Waylay is a very good agent to capitalize on utility, and the breach Teo meta going kinda right now. Like, it's just really straightforward. Like, they throw utility and they play around the Waylay, they try to make traps, and
the Koi fans are here, the Koi fans are here.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on, carry on.
And the Waylay is the best agent to carry on it, and I think like they had some nice ideas and some punishes that was like interesting to play against.
It's annoying, right? It was a bit annoying having to play against. Of course, congratulations on maintaining your Neon win rate. Do you know what your Neon win rate is?
Yeah, no.
You don't know? So in VCT, you have a 69% win rate when you play Neon.
That's pretty good, no?
Very nice, very nice. We didn't see it at kickoff. I think we were annoyed that we didn't see it. I'm so happy we got it back here. Are you happy as well to be able to play this Neon again?
Yeah, I mean, I think we scrapped it for no reason, and I'm just happy to be back on my Neon, you know, like my Neon.
Yeah, it is yours.
From Madrid, you know.
Does it feel the same? Nothing's changed. It feels the same to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Neon is stronger than it was in Madrid, and I played already in Madrid, so I think it's okay. Like, for me, it's okay, you know.
All right, I do have to ask you just one question that isn't about the duelist, and it is going to be about the Ascent. That was your permaban for such a long time. I know you guys have all individually at one point mentioned maybe some of you don't like the Ascent, maybe it's a coach thing. Why is it back in your map pool? That was such a surprise for us. We thought you were going to keep banning it.
I mean, I don't know, like, I think we have 5 players who are playing Ranked a lot, you know, and in Ranked we play Ascent so much, and like, we are all from old times, you know, so, I don't know, we just felt comfortable on Ascent at this point, and we just picked it. We just go for it.
Yeah?
Whatever is comfortable for us, we just like go for it. I don't know.
Even after today, it's still okay.
I don't know. Like, I think we need to take a brief, you know, and just look back into it. Right now, I'm happy. We won, and I'm just being happy.
We're very happy that you're happy. Thank you so much for joining me, Miniboo, and we'll see you next week. You guys might have heard some of the fans. They're very, very loud because Koi will be taking the stage against Foot right after this.
If you go into the English dictionary and you look up the word governor, that was not it, so don't do that ever again.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I don't know, bro. I don't know English. All right, governor. All right, governor.
Red Bull gives you wings.